To our viewers on the business desk at this hour, the 2025 online retail sales report shows that the highly competitive food delivery platforms are propelling the sector forward. The survey by Wide Worx reveals that double-digit increases are seen across groceries, fashion, health and beauty. It also projects that e-commerce turnover in South Africa is expected to exceed 130 billion rand. The growth is also set to accelerate further to 150 billion rand in 2027. Wide Worx CEO Arthur Goldstuck joins us now for more around the online retail sales trajectory. Thank you so much for your time, Arthur. Of course, it's a positive development, not surprising really. Do tell us about this element and the new entry into the pickup and uptick that we are seeing, especially in the grocery delivery side of this particular coin.
Thank you. Very much so. The extent of growth in online retail in South Africa took us by surprise because we were forecasting something like 25% growth this year and maybe 20% next year, because they talk about the law of big numbers. When you get to those massive numbers like last year, 2023, there was 71 billion rand in online retail sales. And then you expect those percentage growth rates to slow down. But what in fact happened last year, it speeded up. We saw 35% growth in South Africa last year, and it reached 96 billion rand in online retail. And that made up 8% of total retail. This year, based on what Shoprite is reporting, Pick n Pay, the Foschini Group, and Mr. Price online, and a few others all reporting, that's Pick n Pay as well, reporting growth between 30 and 50%, which is astonishing. And based on all of those projections, we are forecasting growth of 35% again this year. And that will take the online retail market to 130 billion rand by the end of 2025. And total retail is under 1.3 trillion rand at the moment. It's likely to grow above that by the end of the year because we're finally seeing growth in traditional retail. But that's growth of about 2%, maybe 3%, whereas online retail is 35%. So very soon, probably in the early months of 2026, we'll see online retail overtake that 10% mark of total retail.
Much welcomed positivity here, Arthur, but I think let's also talk about the demographic and the sectors in which where online retail services are catering for. Are we seeing a diverse mix of South Africans participating, especially because anything that has to do with digital retail may create barriers for entry and access for some in the South African economy?
That is very much the case because we see the biggest growth and the biggest uptake of online retail coming in the very highest income groups and what they call the highest socioeconomic levels. In the past, they talked about LSMs, lifestyle measures, but our research partner, Ask Africa, has developed a concept called SELs, which is socioeconomic levels. And in the top socioeconomic level, we saw a massive jump in the proportion of people shopping online from 2023 to 2024. And that is likely to be maintained in 2025. But that leap tells us that it's the people in the highest socioeconomic levels who are really climbing into online shopping and growing this pie dramatically. But the potential, therefore, is that in the coming years, we'll see growth in the lower socioeconomic levels. So there's still massive opportunity. There's still the less low-hanging fruit. So the high SELs, the high income groups, are what you would call low-hanging fruit, easy to reach. But in the coming years, it's going to be the rest of the market. That's the opportunity for growth.
Lastly, job creation in South Africa is a big concern given the unemployment rate, and the digitization of any market is seen as a threat to employment. On the side of retail and e-commerce and what you referenced earlier on in our discussion, that the spike in delivery service use is actually what is propelling this particular market. There's a good side of the story to tell with regards to the delivery drivers themselves actually getting into the job space. Tell us more about that.
It's such a good news story. So people complain that, for example, innovations like self-service checkout is going to reduce jobs, but it completely misses the point that the more innovation you have, the more growth you have in the sector, and that growth drives job creation. And in particular, Shoprite showed that with 60/60, where they employ something like 10,000 people for their delivery services, for logistics, who previously wouldn't have had a job. And we're going to see a continued growth in those kind of jobs, not just from Shoprite, but across the board. As the sector grows, it's going to grow jobs as well. So it's a win-win-win situation.
I like that. It's a win-win-win situation. Thank you so much for your time. Arthur Goldstuck is the CEO at Wide Worx, talking to us about the positive growth seen in the online retail report that they have released.